The first document issued by a buyer to the seller before the finalization of the order is letter of intent called LOI. It is a very important document and it serves a lot of purpose. So in today's video, let's understand what is letter of intent, what purpose it serves, and are there any frauds in it? If yes, how to safeguard yourself from such frauds.
For latest updates, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.
Well, if we take the formal definition of letter of intent, then it is a document declaring the preliminary commitment of one party to do business with another party with said terms and conditions. Before we dig into that what has been written into the letter of intent, let's understand who is the issuer and who is the receiver of the letter of intent. Letter of intent is always issued by the buyer to the seller. So basically, if you are an exporter, you will receive the LOI, and if you are an importer, you will issue an LOI. Well, in the case of LOI, there is no formal format to it, or there is no given specific list of items that have to be included in it, because LOI is between one party to another and the details and the terms and conditions in it vary a lot. But the major items which would almost always be present in every type of LOI would be, first of all, the identification of the parties, meaning the details of both buyer and seller. Secondly, there would be a product details, and it would cover all the aspects of the product like the quantity, the quality, and other specifications or criterias if mentioned as per the deal. So the order details would be like 1000 jeans made out of XYZ quality of cotton, and they would be of 32, 34, 36 waistline with some length to it that could be around 38, 40, 42. So these additional details would become the criteria, and this would constitute as product details in LOI. Besides this, financial terms are very important. The LOI should clearly mention when the buyer is proposing to make the payment. Is it after the delivery of goods? Is it 50% advance, 50% postpaid? Is it 100% advance? So the clear terms and condition of the financial obligation of the buyer should be clearly mentioned into the LOI. Besides it, it is highly recommended that a LOI should also have a closing date in it. Now, what do we mean by a closing date? A closing date is simple. Let's say I am a buyer and I have shortlisted you to supply me the goods, and I have issued you an LOI. Now, if there is no closing date to the LOI and you take, let's say, 1 month, 2 months to respond to it, it wastes a lot of time for me as a buyer. So I'll put up a closing date that I'm issuing the LOI today, and I want the answer within the 15 days. So that means the closing date of the LOI is 15 days. Now, if you as a seller agree to the terms and condition of LOI and confirm it within the 15 days, I'll do business with you. But if you do not do that, then I'll take my business elsewhere. I'll not keep waiting for you. So closing date is very important, guys. Do pay a special attention to it. Before we discuss the value of LOI and the frauds that take place on the name of LOI, it's my sincere request, if you like our videos, if you like the knowledge that we present on this channel, then please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Now guys, LOI is not necessarily a legally binding document, but in the industry, LOI is considered almost as good as a commitment. Now, many of the buyers make use of this faith and they issue you a fake LOI. Now what happens here is that you get a LOI from a buyer which is on the letterhead, which is properly signed and stamped, and you believe that you have bagged the order. Now what the catch here is that the buyer would ask you to do some XYZ registration, or maybe do get some more certificates which only the buyer's country or the agency in the buyer's country would issue it. And once you do that process, the buyer might get a cut out of it and nobody will respond to your LOI. So these are some sort of schemes and frauds that keep happening. Majority of these frauds, they come from the African regions, but I cannot say that all the LOIs are fraud. A lot of them are, but it totally depends on which region and for what product are you getting an LOI. So as an exporter, this puts us into a dilemma that if we receive a LOI, do we act on it? Do we not act on it? Is it a fraud? Is it genuine? Because after all, we are into the market to do business. So my advice here is, once you get the LOI, see the name of the company on the letterhead, search it on the internet, verify it with the local government and the local association bodies with it. Ask for some references from your buyer. Ask them that is there any other exporter of any other material who can vouch for you, who can say that yes, I have been doing business with this XYZ buyers from last so many years. So these exercises will help you into filtering out from the genuine LOIs to the fake LOIs. Now guys, see, it is very important to understand that we as an exporter are giving the product. We are putting in the money first. The onus of being genuine is on the buyer. So don't be afraid to ask for the certifications and associations and other relevant documents from the buyers which can prove his authenticity. Well, that's all for the day. This is Kunal signing off.
For detailed learning of all logistics subjects, visit www.logiveda.com.